This is a video response to Question for the Americans and Agent of Doubt by Jason Young. Quick message to everyone: if you're going to ask a question that you specifically want a response from me about, please link me in the comments section. Tag me or send it directly to me, because I almost didn't see this in my feed. The feed is broken with YouTube. If it's more than 36 hours old, I'm never going to see it, and sometimes I don't see my feed for that long. Yeah. So, watch Jason's video, link in the description box, and I'm just going to answer. Yes, laws need to apply when new technology comes about. The reason I feel this is so is because even though the law might be detrimental to the way things progress, we can't have people making up the law on their own just because they came up with a new invention. Let's say if piracy were illegal, and then someone said, but now we're doing piracy on the internet, so it should be legal now. No, the old laws should apply until this new technology is addressed. And unfortunately, our legislators and our great minds work a lot slower than the advancement of technology. But just, say for instance, a new internet were created, www5, dot whatever, and all of that internet transmission was through one relay station which was on the moon, and anyone who was connected to it had to wait until the moon was facing their part of the earth. But that giant database was completely separate from the other internet. Do you think that the laws that we have for the existing internet regarding piracy should not apply? Should it just be a completely lawless thing where they can get away with everything? No. So there are times when people have taken advantage of those types of gray areas to great detriment to humanity, like pirates in the ocean. Who patrols the ocean? We've had to extend the borders of countries out hundreds of miles into the ocean, just to get, lawlessness to disappear, because, when people don't think that laws apply to them, they'll revert back to whatever it takes to make their payday. So, you also said nukes might be considered part of the biological and chemicals clauses of the Geneva Conventions, where we already had biological and chemical weapons banned. The nuclear explosion is not what you're talking about. You're talking about the fallout is a chemical and biological hazard. And I can see your point, especially since in my time in the Army, I was my unit's NBC NCO, and I led people through training to put their gas masks on, and NBC stands for nuclear, biological, chemical. So, even the U.S. Army considers those three to be very similar threats, where you do similar things, donning your gas mask being one of them. So, yeah, I can see your point, where they should have maybe considered that what they were doing was not just a giant blast. They should have considered the fallout from that, and not even just the radioactive isotopes that they had within their bomb. Also, you could use a conventional weapon, or, like just happened with a giant explosion in China, you could just have an explosion happen at a site that houses chemicals, and those chemicals would disperse everywhere. The chemicals don't really have to be on the bomb for things to go to shit really quick. You know what I'm saying? So maybe the ban on nuclear, biological, chemical warfare should extend to don't blow some shit up if it's going to leak into the ocean and destroy an ecosystem. Don't blow some shit up if it's going to get into the air and choke the fuck out of all the deer, and ruin the ecosystem that way. Don't spread chemicals, and you should be responsible for cleanup. If you were, the person or country that decided to spread chemicals in whichever way that you did it. Yeah, I can see your point there. But also, it seems to me like you could make the argument that bullets themselves were chemical weapons, because if someone gets shot in the gut with a lead bullet, and they don't die, that lead will kill them from lead poisoning, right? There's a reason why the Geneva Convention, it outlawed wooden bullets. And people don't even think about this. It's one of those obscure facts, but wooden bullets were outlawed because there's germs that will get put into the human body through the wood. The wood would splinter upon impact and shoot through the body and leave splinters everywhere and cause infection that was too much for a surgeon to be able to chase every little splinter. So they made wooden bullets illegal, but lead bullets, they just kind of left that alone. I know that lead existed back then, but for some reason they didn't cover it. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on what you said. I wish that legislation moved as quickly as thoughts on YouTube did. Because in the time that it takes to pass anything in our legislation, new technology will have had the chance to adapt to whatever they were trying to pass. So we are headed towards a lot of lawlessness.